stop everything. Ilia Topuria might be leaving MMA, and if he does, the lightweight division doesn't just shift, it explodes. And you need to rewind because the chaos starts months before anyone even imagined. Because this can't be real. But trust me, someone is calculating every move behind the scenes while the fans are still arguing over interim titles. And if you think this is just about money, you're already behind. Because legacy, influence, and survival are about to collide.
Yeah, you know how they do it. They try to steal your soul.
Jesus.
Put a knife right in your spirit.
Dude, that's crazy.
Muy bien, muy contento. La verdad que yo tuve la conversación previamente antes con la UFC, sabía lo que estaba sucediendo, mantuvimos algunas conversaciones. Por mi situación personal sabían que yo no pudiera competir en enero. De lo que yo he vivido y de la forma que yo vivo es cuando tengo mi espíritu en paz, es cuando me puedo mantenerme mentalmente enfocado, físicamente, espiritualmente, porque sí, hay muchas tentaciones que se presentan en el camino, hay muchas voces alrededor, la gente puede llegar a criticar o a juzgarte sin realmente.
Topuria isn't thinking in weeks or fights, he's thinking in careers. And when a fighter openly says, I'm going to surprise people in boxing, that's not hype, that's a threat to the UFC's control, to matchmaking, to everyone who thought titles guaranteed relevance. Because once he steps into another ring, the entire hierarchy gets questioned, and someone somewhere is scrambling to cover the cracks before they're fully exposed.
I still don't think the UFC will do it because I just don't know how you do that when there's so much other to be done before that happens. He wants to. If he had his choice, he would fight Islam Makhachev, and that would be the final fight, which is awful in like a number of things. The rest of that interview is he talks about like he is a little more open to the idea of sticking around in the full interview, where he's like, it'll kind of depend on things. And the true answer is that, yeah, he wants to go to boxing because he wants to get paid, because this sport sucks. And the best athletes in this sport want to leave it because that's where money is.
Analysts can debate logistics all they want, Jed Medju, Eric Jackman, even casual observers, but the reality is that Topuria's mindset creates a ticking time bomb. Because moving to boxing isn't just a switch, it's a gamble that could erase his MMA trajectory instantly. And yet he's willing, mentally ready, eyes on the prize, and it's terrifying how calm he is while the UFC watches the clock, wondering if the timing will implode everything.
These are not guaranteed for everyone.
I would be disappointed if that was what happens. I don't think that's what happens. He might lose in MMA. The boxing opportunities might not be there. We've seen this from other people other than Conor McGregor before, and only Conor McGregor has successfully navigated these waters. I don't think we're seeing that. I don't think we're dealing with that. I think it's much more likely that he
Francis did also successfully navigate those waters.
To an extent, yes, but
he's fought as much as Conor's fought, basically.
What he did though was find a promotion that was going to give him guaranteed money in MMA that allowed him to also do this boxing thing. It was a bit of a different kind of thing.
The same thing.
And then you hear the whispers about money and opportunities, about who really gets what payout, and suddenly the sport's brightest stars aren't fighting opponents. They're negotiating leverage, positioning for survival. And if you don't see it, you're already too late. Because someone is quietly being written out of the future while we argue about interim titles and schedules, and yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
And how he views that matchup.
Muy bien, muy contento. La verdad que yo tuve la conversación previamente antes con la UFC, sabía lo que estaba sucediendo, mantuvimos algunas conversaciones. Por mi situación personal sabían que yo no pudiera competir en enero, por pues todas las cosas que engloba una situación personal por la que estoy pasando, y al final decidieron hacer el combate por el título interino entre Paddy Pimblett y Justin Gaethje. A mí me parece muy merecido para ambos, es un título bastante válido, bastante merecido, es lo más cerca que van a estar los dos de tener un campeonato del mundo. Les felicito a los dos, pero al final del día se van a tener que enfrentar con el real deal.
Ilia shifted the conversation.
Topuria's personal life adds another layer, because now the timeline for a return isn't set. His family and mental health come first, And if that delays him past summer, Paddy Pimblett could claim a belt without even touching him in the cage, and every second that passes changes the map of the division. Because fights aren't just physical contests anymore, they're strategic landmines, and someone is standing on one right now.
inside the octagon.
Bueno, pues como he comunicado, estoy atravesando problemas personales. No tengo una fecha exacta de cuándo se va a solucionar todo. Espero que cuanto antes, en cuanto se solucione, yo estaré listo para volver en el octógono. Priorizo en este momento el bienestar de mi familia, de mis hijos, el mío propio. Así que en cuanto solucione todo, ya volveré al octógono y a darle todo el espectáculo que todo el mundo se merece.
Meanwhile, Ilia
And don't think this is clean criticism, misleading stories. The public eye, social media, everyone thinking they know the truth. And Topuria just sits there focused, calm, waiting because he understands the difference between noise and threat. And the moment he steps back into the octagon, everything these distractions built could come crashing down in seconds, leaving chaos in its wake.
De lo que estoy más orgulloso, de lo que estoy más orgulloso es cuando me vienen los niños y me miran con esa cara de admiración y me miran a la cara y me dicen que quieren ser como yo. Ahí es cuando realmente siento ese orgullo y ese agradecimiento, porque en parte también siempre fue mi objetivo, ¿no? Y mi padre siempre decía que la única forma de inspirar a los demás era siendo el ejemplo, y me alegro de que pueda llegar a ser el ejemplo para las nuevas generaciones y para las generaciones existentes también.
after sharing his values and sense of responsibility.
Joe Rogan and Derek were right to highlight the human cost, relationships, stress, and conflict can crack even the toughest mental armor. And when you combine that with a fighter thinking about leaving the sport, the division isn't just unstable, it's volatile, because the personal spillovers can cost titles, careers, and even reputations. And one misstep could ignite a scandal bigger than anyone wants to admit.
El secreto, no sé, para mí el secreto, yo siempre puedo hablarte de mis experiencias y de mis vivencias, de lo que yo he vivido, y de la forma que yo vivo es cuando tengo mi espíritu en paz, es cuando me puedo mantenerme mentalmente enfocado, físicamente, espiritualmente, porque sí, hay muchas tentaciones que se presentan en el camino, hay muchas voces alrededor, la gente puede llegar a criticar o a juzgarte sin realmente saber nada de ti, y alguno puede hacer un artículo, a veces yo me encuentro con un artículo que no tiene ni una pizca de realidad y la gente comentando, y yo digo, pero si esto no tiene nada que ver conmigo, yo esto jamás lo he dicho en mi vida o nunca me he portado de esta manera.
And now Max Holloway puts it into perspective. Kids, family, unfinished business, balancing personal struggles with professional obligations, and if Topuria returns at a different weight or later than expected, the ripple effects hit everyone from interim title fights to rankings, from promoters to contenders, and someone is quietly calculating which domino falls next, and nobody wants to speak it out loud.
Yeah, you know how they do it. They try to steal your soul.
Jesus.
Put a knife right in your spirit.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, there's hell has no fury like a woman's. It's a.
Well, hopefully that helps him think he made the right call then, I guess.
I
You know?
guess, but does that help? This is the mother
No.
of your children, and this lady is a monster. And
There's
I think he's
nothing
trying
worse
to
than
get custody.
feeling like psychologically duped by somebody too.
Well, I don't know if it is psychologically duped or if it's like once she's not on your side, you know,
then it's just
then it's
like-
just burn the house down.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe
and there's a
that's
lot
what
of
it's
ladies like that because they feel like you hooked up with a guy who's an incredibly special human being, the rarest of rare. You not just UFC world champion, but a 2-division world champion, superstar who the whole world wants to see.
Paddy Pimblett himself hints at the vacuum, saying if Topuria doesn't return, he could become undisputed champion without fighting. And that's a seismic shock to the division, because legitimacy isn't built on circumstance, it's built on combat. Yet here's a scenario where timing and personal priorities rewrite the rulebook, and you have to ask who really controls the championship when personal lives collide with organizational timelines.
Like, oh, really? Well, I'm gonna take you down. And women, that's what they love, is reputation destruction. That's what they really are experts in when it goes sideways.
What's the typical outcome of these cases where it's like super famous person, wife claims that she is 50% responsible for their success, tries to take half? Is that like, if there's no prenup, that's kind of just what happens?
Depends on where they are, right? So I don't know where they got married, you know, where they're getting divorced. I was like, is it in Spain? What kind of laws does
He
Spain
seems like
have?
a super traditional guy who like probably didn't even get the right shit set up.
God, I hope not.
He seems really like innocent, you know.
It looked like a
trusted-
perfect marriage.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. But this is the ugliness of social media, right?
Kelso then drops historical context, reminding us of Dominic Cruz, ACL surgeries, grace periods, stipends. The UFC has bent rules before when top fighters were unavailable, and now Topuria is at a crossroads where precedent clashes with ambition. And you can see the storm forming, quiet, ominous, but inevitable, because the next decision someone makes will either stabilize or rupture everything we thought we knew about titles.
Going through that, no one even knew I was going through it. They saw the aftermath of, you know, years of just court dates and lawyers and talking, and the only person who loses on that is the kids, you know. So at the end of the day, I know how hard it is for a father, you know. Shout out to Topuria trying to figure that out, and I hope he does, you know. I hope he can come back. If it's him coming back at 170, it's him coming back at 170. But you know, I got unfinished business, so maybe we go up to 172 when he gets that done.
The reality is brutal. MMA doesn't exist in a vacuum. And Topuria isn't just leaving a division, he's leaving a blueprint for chaos. Because every choice he makes now, boxing, family, timing, feeds into the volatile ecosystem of opportunities, contenders, and matchmaking politics. And someone will pay the price for misreading it, and it's not just him.
No idea. He's got a lot going on in his personal life, lad, and all I care about is getting him in that octagon and fighting him. Anything in his personal life, I hope it goes well. But you never know, if he doesn't come back by June, July, then he might have to vacate his belt and I'll become undisputed champ without even fighting.
Fans and analysts are blind to the undercurrents. Negotiations, hidden agendas, delayed returns, and cash flow, all bubbling under the surface, waiting for a single trigger, a single fight, a single announcement, and when that trigger goes off, the lightweights, the champions, the contenders. They all get swept into a storm, and if you blink, you'll miss the first collapse.
UFC offices, which you guys know is the PI, and everybody has an opinion on Ilia Topuria. It's one of the hottest conversations going around. Good opinions. Ilia Topuria is the best. Ilia Topuria is the best boxer. Ilia Topuria is going to headline the White House card, but they weren't all. You know, here's an argument that I heard, and I'm trying to think on it. And it's normally the thing with off, but it's the person that made the argument. Someone you know, somebody very reasonable and respected, and they just said, look, Ilya should have been stripped. Say Gaethje and Patty shouldn't be fighting for the vacated title. They should be fighting for the interim title. They should be fighting for the undisputed title. So how do you get to that conclusion? They said, why do we have an interim championship for? You're trying to walk me down like a history lesson. Like, what is the history of the interim championship and how we came up with it in the first place?
And that's why this is bigger than one fighter. Topuria leaving MMA isn't a personal choice, it's a systemic test, because every division and every promoter watching knows that when the top talent thinks beyond the octagon, the sport itself starts questioning who it rewards. And that questioning is dangerous, because uncertainty breeds mistakes, and mistakes breed chaos, and chaos is contagious.
There's a history behind that. Dominic Cruz would be the first example. 3.5 years without a title defense, but every bad thing that could happen that was outside of his control did happen, and they had grace. Dana met with him face to face and was supposed to take the belt off him. Called him in to have a face to face to take the belt off him. He said, I'm not going to do it. Not only did he not take the belt off him, right? Dominic had 3 ACL surgeries in 3.5 years. Not only did they not take the belt off him, they ended up putting him on a stipend.
The pressure builds quietly, then violently. Every fight, every news cycle, every interim title, every social media post, all of it, feeding a narrative of instability. Because when the top star's timeline is uncertain, the dominoes start falling. Rankings, matchups, belts, and nobody can fully predict which crash will happen first. And that's exactly the kind of uncertainty the UFC rarely admits to. And it ends like this. For now, Topuria is weighing options: family, money, legacy, boxing, MMA, timing. The list is endless, and every second he delays, every comment he makes, every analyst opinion. It's a fuse burning down in the division. Because nothing is resolved, everything is unsettled, and when the next announcement comes, the whole landscape could erupt overnight, leaving fans, fighters, and promoters staring at a reality none of them can control.